John of Leiden was an Anabaptist leader from Leiden in the Holy Roman Empire's county of Holland. In 1533 he moved to Munster, the capital city of the Holy Roman Empire's Prince-Bishopric of Munster, where he became an influential prophet and a leader of the Münster Rebellion. He turned Munster, the city, into a millenarian Anabaptist theocracy, and proclaimed himself King of Munster in 1534. In 1535, the insurrection was suppressed after a siege of the fortified city, and John was captured, tortured and executed. Life. John was the illegitimate son of a Dutch mayor, and a tailor's apprentice by trade. He was born in the village of Zevenhoven in the municipality of Nieuwekoop, located in the Dutch province of South Holland. Raised in poverty, young John became a charismatic leader who was widely revered by his followers. John was an Anabaptist, secretly at first, but later he became a recognized prophet of a sect which would eventually take over the German town of Munster. According to his own testimony, he moved to Munster in 1533 because he had heard there were inspired preachers there. He sent for Jan Matthees, who had baptized him, to come. After his arrival, Matthees, recognized as a prophet, became the principal leader of the city. Matthees expelled all of the Catholics from the city shortly after his arrival and set up a communist structure based on the Gospels. He outlawed money and forbade owning property. A Catholic-supported army, led by Franz von Waldeck, Prince-Bishop of Munster, Osnabrück and Minden, laid siege to the town of Munster after the Anabaptist takeover. Matthees led an assault on the siege on Easter Sunday 1534, but died quickly. John of Leiden became self-proclaimed King of Munster until its fall in June 1535. John of Leiden would lead the Anabaptists during the siege. When he was the leader, he assumed Matthees' position as the prophet and eventually established a royal order complete with a royal court and a kingly costume, which was made from the property taken from the citizens of Munster. John of Leiden would make many promises to his starving subjects about salvation from the siege and upcoming rewards for their enduring loyalty. This, along with his charisma, kept his position in the city secure until the eventual defeat by the hands of the Prince-Bishop. The army of Munster was defeated in 1535 by the Prince-Bishop Franz von Waldeck, and John of Leiden was captured. He was found in the cellar of a house, from where he was taken to a dungeon in Dulmen, then brought back to Munster. On January 22, 1536, along with Bernhard Krechting and Bernhard Knipperdolling, he was tortured and then executed. Each of the three was attached to a pole by an iron-spiked collar and his body ripped with red-hot tongs for the space of an hour. After Knipperdolling saw the process of torturing John of Leiden, he attempted to kill himself with the collar, using it to choke himself. After that, the executioner tied him to the stake to make it impossible for him to kill himself. After the burning, the tongues were pulled out with tongs before each was killed with a burning dagger thrust through the heart. The bodies were placed in 3 iron baskets and hung from the steeple of St. Lambert's Church, and the remains left to rot. About 50 years later the bones were removed, but the baskets remain. His motto was, "Gott smaakt is myn kracht." Historiography. The conventional view is that John of Leiden set up in Munster a polygamous theocracy, best known for a law John passed stating that any unmarried woman must accept the first proposal of marriage made to her, with the result that men competed to acquire the most wives. Some sources report that John himself took 16 wives aside from his queen, Nevara van Haarlem, and that he publicly beheaded one of his wives, Elizabeth von Scherer, after she rebelled against his authority. Karl Kautsky, in his Communism in Central Europe at the Time of the Reformation, notes that this picture of Anabaptist Munster is based almost entirely on accounts written by the Anabaptists' enemies, who sought to justify the bloody reconquest of the city. Kautsky's reading of the sources emphasizes the Anabaptists' emphasis on social equality, political democracy, and communal living during the time of John's nominal rule. In proverb, on stage and in fiction, John's name still lives on in the Dutch language, in the sayings Ich met in Jan van Leiden van IETS maken, which means not putting too much effort into something. The opera Le Prophète by Giacomo Mabir features John as its hero. It involves the capture of Munster, John's coronation as God's elect at the cathedral, and its finale is set in John's palace in Munster. John is also featured in Luther Blissart's novel, Q. John is a central character in Jonathan Rainbow's Speak to Her Kindly, a novel of historical fiction set during the events of the Munster Rebellion. John Leiden features in Thomas Nash's The Unfortunate Traveller, whose hero, Jack Wilton, satirically describes the siege of Munster and Leiden's death. John is one of the main protagonists in the play Die Wieder Taufe by Friedrich Dürrenmatt. John of Leiden appears in the novel Le Veau Noir The Abyss by Marguerite Yourcenar from 1968, in which Yourcenar blends fictitious and real characters, describing the whole Munster Rebellion and its downfall. The passage occupies a short chapter. The 1993 German TV drama König der letzten Tage about Leiden features Christoph Waltz, Jan Buchholz and Mario Adorf as Bishop von Waldeck. The protagonist of Richard Powers' 2014 novel Orfeo composes an opera with John of Leiden as the main character.